When I did wake up screaming, I would be dragged down into the ground through the dirt and roots. I can remember vividly seeing bugs and mice and things. Hello, my friends, and welcome back to Talk About Strange. Well, it's the weekend. I hope you guys are going to have a great weekend. I'm going to try to get a couple more videos done here. As you can see, I got my Dunkin'. I probably should mention they are not affiliated with this channel and they are not sponsoring this channel. But they do support me through the long days that I didn't get enough sleep. So I love my Dunkin', and I think you guys already know that. Anyway, so Rachel wrote us back and it wants to give us the continuation to wrap up the last video she did about the greenhouse. So I'm glad she's going to share that with us. So I'm going to share that with you here right now. And then we'll see. I gotta go. I didn't really go through it. I might have time to add another one to that. And boy, I got quite a few here, so I don't know how many I'll get through, but let's see what we can do. Oh, interesting story. You know what? I might put that in the very beginning as the thumbnail. So yesterday I was having, kind of a day. I mean, there's just a lot going on. So I got to tell you, I really got inside my head and was having a day. And my wife and I went out to take a ride and pick up some groceries and stuff. And we're on our way back home. And what do I see? It's not something you see every day. Here, a horse trotting down the road, tripping up, having a very hard time, very scared. It had its lead on it, and somehow the lead had gotten wrapped around both feet, and it's trying to get away from the cars, and it was just terrified. We had passed a ways back the caretakers for the horse from the stable, and so I got up where I could with the traffic and stuff and got out, and I went up to get the horse. I was kind of trying to jog up past the cars, and it seemed to be scaring the horse even more. The horse was running towards one of the more main roads. So I stopped immediately and just started walking and talking to her. I thought at the time, and just going, "Hey, baby, it's okay. Come on, slow down. It's okay," and just coaxing her. She stopped right in her tracks as soon as I started talking and looked back at me and just sat there and listened to me talk and then started walking toward me. I thought that was pretty cool. And at the same time, I was thinking, please, God, don't let this horse trample me right now. So anyway, I just kept talking to her, saying, "Come on, baby, it's okay. Come on, let's go home. It's all right. I know you're scared," and talking to her. And I got her to me and just was walking her back to the other people. They're quite a ways down the road to the caretakers. And we got to where they were. And she asked me if I could hold her, hold the harness, the lead and harness. Well, or the bridle. Well, she untied the feet so she didn't get hurt. And I did. And I just talked to the horse, kept the horse calm. And I says, she goes, he busted through the gate. I said, "He busted through the gate." I says, "Oh my goodness, fella." I said, "I'm sorry. I've been calling you a she this whole time." It's just not right. But anyway, no, but the horse turned out to be safe. His front leg was shaking from the rope being tied around. But as soon as she got that rope off, it was only like a few seconds, and his leg stopped shaking. So I think he's going to be all right. Then the actual owner showed up, and they couldn't thank me enough. But I'll tell you what, it just really made my day. I felt so good. I'll put the picture up. It's amazing how something like that gets put in front of you and it changes your day and how you're feeling and puts you in the right direction. So, but that was really cool. And I thought you guys might like that story, so I figured I'd share it with you. All right, so anyway, that's about it for updates. I'm going to get right onto this so it's not too long and you guys can enjoy your weekend, all right? But you're not going to enjoy your weekend without a good story, right? So let's get on it. Okay, this is Rachel. Hi again, Steve. I'm going to try to get everything into this email if I can without it being super long. I was going to add it into the other email I sent you today, but I really wanted to get the last email I sent to you done first and separate it because it felt like how I needed to be. I hope I didn't miss something. Oh, okay. No, that's something different. Yeah, I hope. I better check. Okay, yeah, that's separate. something different. All right. Rachel was getting her code in the other email to purchase something out of the store. So we got that taken care of. I hope she's all set and got what she wanted. All right. So after the shack was found in the woods, my mom's nighttime visits were intensified. The thing started trying to talk her into following her to the shack so it could show her something. Thankfully, she never went. Also, they found a huge pentagram in the middle of the living room floor under the carpet and found out that the old woman who lived there before had been into dark magic. Oh, goodness. She had supposedly done rituals to open portals and call things to haunt anyone who moved in. We had all begun having horrible nightmares by this point of the demons chasing us. I can't say for sure the details of everyone's dreams, but as to my own, I can still remember in great detail, and though I have never dreamed what I did almost every night there again since leaving that house, I have been plagued by nightmares randomly ever since. The dreams were always very similar, but not exact, meaning sometimes we were being chased and caught inside the home, sometimes outside, sometimes a combination of both. But I was always the last to be caught in my dreams. Then I would wake up most of the time. But what happened next when I didn't, I can't say for certain if it happened multiple times or just once. What I can say with clarity, though, is that it will forever be burned into my memory. I was only maybe 5 when these dreams started, and as you can imagine, absolutely terrified of them. I will describe the typical dream and then end that what happened when I woke up as they caught me. We would all be getting chased by these black formless blobs, like shadows, but blacker than a shadow with a mask is the best way I can put it. While we would all be running in fear, I would see the mass envelop or drag away each member of my family one by one, hearing their screams fade into the darkness until finally it was just me left. Then lastly, I would be grabbed myself. When I did wake up screaming, I would be dragged down into the ground through the dirt and roots. I can remember vividly seeing bugs and mice and things burrowed into the ground as I was being pulled down, until it finally came out into a large tunnel with similar tunnels branching off both sides. I could no longer see the shadowy figure anymore, but I knew they were still there surrounding me. They would lead me forward through a large tunnel until we stood before an open doorway. Beyond the threshold of this doorway was blackness. I could tell there was something like a throne within, and on it sat something blacker than the blackness surrounding it. And this thing, whatever it was, never physically spoke a word, but it was like I could hear it speaking inside my head. It would show me images of my family being taken and hurt, and I would hear them scream. Then it would tell me that if I wanted to save them or even see them again, I had to help it. I had to do what it told me to do. But as scared and sad as I was, my response was always to start saying no, 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 over and over until it was full-blown yelling, which woke me up. The only other dream I can remember from when we lived there was one where I either was flying on an eagle or I was the eagle, not sure which, or soaring through the air high above, looking down over mountains and valleys, and just felt so free. That's a good dream. My mom and I ended up moving out of that house on Christmas Day of 1988 and moved down to Jacksonville, Florida with my uncle, and after we moved, things there calmed down quite a bit. They didn't stop though, and we definitely seem to have been followed ever since. There's literally a lifetime worth of haunting tales of things I have been through since living there, as well as what almost seemed to be a curse-related instance some might call bad luck, but that plagued us ever since. But if you are interested, those are stories for another day. Thank you so much for your time and understanding, sir. Hope you have a wonderful day and looking forward to our journey ahead. Yes, absolutely, Rachel. Thank you so very much for wrapping that up. Yeah, that's been a really good story that you shared about that house, and I'm glad you did get out of there and have found a way to move forward despite all of that. Um, it's one of those things you don't empower, try not to empower it if you still feel those sensations and connections. Just by trying to release that and not give it any power over you is the best thing you can do to feel better and move on. And I think that dream about you flying or being an eagle or on an eagle was you in your mind, finding peace and freedom and strength, because that is a sign of strength and control, self-control, with it being able to fly out there, freedom and self-control. So I think you got the right mindset for it, and I think you're going to be fine. Any of those other stories you want to share with us, of course, feel welcome to. All right. All right. Okay, we're going to move on to another one. Thank you for sharing that with us. I kind of marked them out here a little bit. How about reptilians? Let's talk about reptilians. Hi, Steve. My name is Lex. This is a story I've always only shared a small handful of folks over the years. In 2008, I decided to take a road trip with some friends to Sedona, Arizona. We were on a spiritual journey and had heard about the amazing vortex in the heart of the state and had to check it out. We arrived on Friday with plans to leave the following Monday morning. The weekend was beautiful. Everyone was kind and welcoming. I felt like I was right where I needed to be. Sunday night, after we finished packing the car up for the next day's drive, we decided to take one last hike through the Orange Mountains and stargaze a bit. We tried to stay on the same path we were on that day before and with a group of other people, but found ourselves off track. Not knowing where we were, we tried not to panic and laid on our backs to watch the stars a bit before using our phones to find our way back. After laying there for a bit, and soaking up the beauty, I heard my friend struggling to speak. I went to go to roll over to look at her and noticed I couldn't move. It was as if we were paralyzed. Boy. We heard footsteps and what sounded like something dragging along with the steps. All of a sudden, thoughts flooded my mind. We were being told that this land belonged to another species long before humans, and that they weren't all bad. They're called reptilians. And the one that was putting these thoughts in our minds had come to tell us that she wasn't one of the bad ones, that they weren't all bad, but that there was still very much a war on the planet that humans were winning. Even if the masses were unaware, this reptilian was warning us of the fact that others were following close behind and that we had to go. I guess because he or she was in our heads, they were aware of the fact that we had been a bit lost. I couldn't help but to be terrified, even though this entity said that they were there to help. They then said that we could go, but asked that we walk away quietly without turning around, and gave us directions back to where we were staying with some sort of visual download. I went from being lost to knowing exactly where I was. We agreed and slowly stood up to leave. As we were walking away, my friend, who knows me very well, just kept repeating, "Don't turn back. Don't turn around." So I turned around, laugh out loud. Sounds like something I might do. This creature looked like half a lizard type of creature and half human, walking away on two legs with a massive tail following suit. Their arms seemed to hang almost down to their knees, and they were fully clothed. I only got a peek as they had their back to me and were heading behind the rock that my friend and I had just been in front of. My encounter was only a few moments long, but those few moments changed everything for me. My outlook on life, religion, my understanding of the cosmos. Over time, I've come to understand that this is something that our government has been aware of for years. Extraterrestrials, reptilians, Bigfoot, mermaids, all of our ancestors' old stories had basis with the whole time. Thank you for the work you do, Steve. Because of you, the public will know this as well. Thank you, Lex. Thank you for sharing that with us. That's pretty wild. I mean, And I've heard of lizard people. That kind of goes way back too. You know, you don't hear a lot of stories about them. Anybody else have had those types of experiences? I would love to hear more about that. Yeah, I'm glad you guys were all right in that, and that must have been really wild. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, so I think I'm going to end that one. What do I got here? Because this next one's pretty long. So I'm going to end that one so I can start the other one. So hopefully I'll get them both up and you guys can watch them both. Thank you so very much for joining me. I will see you again really soon, and I'll probably still have my coffee when I do.